don't get coronavirus in your heart.
Let's do it.
It's the base. LOSO__G.
Deacon, the engineer.
That boy.
We got the guest, yo, the one, the only.
You go,
Let 'em know.
You go the boss.
Let her have the team B4B. Hugo Boss, I like that one. You go, boy. Or the you, whatever you guys want to call me these days. That's Edwin's favorite. You go, boy. You go, boy.
No, that's pretty fucking clever. I like that. You go, boy.
Yeah, man.
But thank you for coming on the show, bro. What you been up to lately since we last talked, quarantining and shit?
Listen, man, just been continuing quarantining. I've been writing. I've been writing more. I was joking with you off air about I just downloaded Final Draft, which is what people use for writing scripts and screenplays. So there's a screenplay two screenplays I've been developing for a while now with a friend of mine, Randy Troy. Shout out my boy Mars from Inwood. He lives in Inwood, Upper Bronx. That's with the Dominicans. That's with that's with Jose's people.
Hey! I'm American, bro.
Whatever. But yeah, we've been developing a couple screenplays, which is dope, and streaming. That stream life is real. Looking for new shows, new documentaries, things of that nature. I'm excited for this new Spike Lee movie that just dropped on Netflix. I'm actually, I'm excited. I'm gonna watch that tonight. I'm excited about that. So, just keeping myself amused, man. Like until work starts again, I've gotta keep the juices flowing, man.
It's a documentary or
it's a movie. No, it's a movie. It's a movie.
Movie. Got you. Okay.
Yeah, it's a movie, but it's shot Spike Lee style, which isn't really a movie. Like Spike Lee shoots. Okay. Spike is kind of like quick.
It's gonna be super close. It's gonna be the dolly cam when
they're
walking mad.
Right. Yeah. all his usual stuff. Like he's like Tarantino in that sense. They've got a style that is just their style. Nobody else does it like them, which makes them stand out, and which is why their works are timeless, and which will be around long after they leave this earth. So I'm excited. Just keeping myself amused, man. That's all. Nothing major on this side.
Yeah, why you got to use that specific software for script writing?
Okay, so I learned this from my boy Mars Troy. The thing is with formatting is so important with screenplays, and when you want to pitch a screenplay or try to sell a screenplay, if it's not formatted right, you're not gonna make it past the first freaking dialogue, let alone the first page. Like it has to be formatted a certain type of way. The dialogue has to look a certain type of way. The action, like what the characters are doing, the shots, how you set that up, how you introduce a scene, how you leave a scene, all that has to be arranged and formatted to a T, and I started out behind the 8 ball because I wasn't a film and TV major like my boy Randy was. So obviously he learned all this stuff eons ago, back in the Penn State days, and me, I know how to do a journalism script, like so a news script, like with a lead in and a close and a teaser and all that. That is completely different than a screenplay script where, again, you're talking about 2 characters interacting or 3 characters interacting outdoors, indoors, at night, during the day. It's a lot of intricacies that, again, I'm still learning myself. But I'm very blessed and fortunate that I have a guy who, he writes for a living. So it's like, he's just walking me through. And what's dope about Final Draft, I know this sounds like a Final Draft commercial, but what's dope about Final Draft is...
Hit us up, sponsors.
Yeah, exactly. What's dope about Final Draft is they've got a freaking it's like a share portal, so me and him can both be working on a script at the same exact time in real time. Okay. And I think you can have up to about 15 or 20 people working on a script. This is how they do it for studios and network TV and movies. Like they use this software, and it just does it for you. Like it formats everything for you, which is really cool, really dope. And like a novice like myself, I'm learning on the fly, which is dope. So and it's very time consuming. Writing is like with anything that you really want to get good at or be great at or make a career out of. Takes work, takes hours, takes a lot of discipline to invest that type of energy and resource into. So I'm excited about it. It's a new challenge, and it's better than just sitting around watching Netflix all day. It gives me something to do.
Nice.
Write a Netflix show then rather than watching it.
Facts. Super facts. That's the goal. I've always wanted to be a writer. I was a writer before music. Like I wrote poetry and short stories long before I got into music, man. Like I was a state writing champion in like grade school. I think in fourth grade, in the state of New Jersey. And I wrote a scenario story about like based in the future. I don't want to give it away because I like down the road, I actually want to turn that into a movie too. I've had the ability to create stories and create characters at a young age. It's just that when college rolled around, I was like, yeah, I want to get into this music thing. It's just this seems pretty cool. Always wanted to. And, but to pick it back up at this advanced age with all the experiences I've had in life and stuff like that is pretty cool.
You look like a fucking director right now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Glasses, bro. He got the uniform on.
This will be my look, dude. I'm always gonna have a hat and scruff and glasses.
You're gonna come up with a fire like call sign for whatever it is you do, like cinematography wise.
Right.
So when you see it, they're like, oh yeah, this is an Ugo production.
Right.
You go production.
Like, you know, boy.
Yeah, I gotta like we were just talking about Spike Lee. I gotta have some signature shit in there that you're just like, yo, that only happens in his shows. That only happens in his movies. So yeah, totally. It'll be there. Don't worry. I'll come up with something.
I'll help you think of something too, because I like cinematography, so I'll think of something as well.
Absolutely.
Yo, speaking of music, man, anything on? Oh, did you want to go back to? I was gonna ask about music.
Oh no, keep going. I think I'm delayed a little bit anyway.
Oh, anything new on that front, man? You making any music or?
Well, I've got an album that's done. It's called All the Time. I think I mentioned it in passing last time I was on. I don't want to put out any music right now because my focus right now really is on the writing. But the album is done. It's been done. It's been done for like 2 years. Like it's finished. It's 10 brand new tracks. I released one of them called Young Legend. I sent you the link for it. I'm pretty sure you saw the video for it. Yeah, I filmed that out in the Dominican Republic. That was dope. That was fun. There are no prostitutes in it, Fab.
Fab's disappointed. He's like, oh, fuck, man.
But actually, there might be one or two. But anyway, but no, I'm kind of taking a little hiatus from music to focus on the writing thing. That's one of the adjustments I made in my life. Was I want to put energy into individual things instead of just like spacing myself out and doing like 5 things or 6 things at a time and not being as productive and as efficient as I feel like I can be and should be, so and I think I talked about this on the last podcast. It's like, yo, I want to find one thing and just stick to it. So right now it's the script. I want to finish this. I want to finish the pilot. It's actually 2 shows that I'm working on. One's a drama and one's a comedy. The goal is definitely before quarantine's over to have both of those pilots done. So that way, Randy, who's in the Writers Guild, he has something to work with if he wants to, if he has anybody to pitch it to. And then when I resume work, with the Wizards or wherever I end up working when this is over with, I can have that in my back pocket. Be like, yo, by the way, you're in film. Well, I'm actually in writing. So let's work together. Let's network. I've got finished works that are ready to go, that are edited, that are formatted correctly, that you can put in front of anybody, and see if I can get on Hulu or Amazon Prime or Netflix or whatever. You know what I mean? So yeah, but music's kind of on hold, on pause right now, because I want to focus on writing right now. I want to focus on screenplays. So, but that won't last forever. I'll definitely put out more music at some point. We're gonna shoot videos for the project that is out, Jonah, that I put out recently. I think I dropped that probably about 2 weeks ago. No, like 3 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. I have no concept of time right now, as you guys know, with quarantine life. So yeah, the project, my most recent project that I put out is EP Jonah, 4 brand new tracks. I think I'm pretty sure everybody here has heard it. Like it's just like it's been out for a while, and
just gotta add a video to it.
Just got a video to it. Yeah, I probably want to shoot videos to all 4 tracks because it's an EP. It's a real quick listen. So, I'm gonna put more effort into making sure everybody gets that and consumes that, and before I put out the next project all the time.
Yo, what's good with
Hold on,
what's good with the other podcast that you were working on?
Oh, okay.
That's dope, by the way. His podcast is dope.
Thank you.
I really like it. It's good if you're a sports fan. He basically turned into like I don't know who to compare you to, because like who's reasonable? Like
who doesn't do the freaking wrestling promos?
Yeah, so I can't think
podcast with his own.
Because I'm thinking about Stephen A. I'm thinking about Shannon. I'm thinking about Skip Bayless. It's like you don't fit like who, like not Max Kellerman. Like, yeah, I mean he's kind of reasonable sometimes, like when he's talking about boxing, but
yeah, Ugo, how much would it cost for you to sell out and do your podcast for a company?
100 mil for sure.
100 million. Yeah, 100 million. We'd have to start there. That's what Joe Rogan got, right?
100 million.
Oh yeah, that's the floor. 100 million.
That's the floor. That's the floor right there.
And we're on Spotify for free.
Listen, if they cut that check, bro, like, because I could use that. I've got so many ideas to use that money and flip it, and that's where the East Orange, Newark, like, drug culture comes in. Not that I ever sold drugs, but
my podcast dream is that we do get paid for doing this, but I don't want to lose my friends over money.
I don't want to be a Candace Owens, bro. I don't want to sell out my people, dog.
Yeah.
Like I don't. Like that's what it comes down to. Like I want my content to always be synonymous with me. Like, and I never want to like be hanging out with you guys or hanging out with other guys from Penn State or from all my friends from Pittsburgh and Philly and out west in New York, and I'm just sitting with them and they're just like, bro, like you're on some other shit. Like, I mean, you're still cool now in person, but that podcast is on some. What the hell, bro? Like, looking at me crazy. I never want that to happen. So it's like, yeah, I'm with you. Staying true to myself.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think your commentary, especially about the draft, was good. And I don't even fucking follow the NFL, but I still enjoyed it. Like, I know enough about it to like follow some of it. Yeah. Maybe watch college football. I don't really watch NFL, but like. I was like, oh, okay. You talk about draft picks and shit like that. And your co-host is good too. He's like a good sort of like, he's the color. I mean, you're both color commentators. That's the thing.
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead.
Boy, how do you feel about the bass?
It's okay.
That's since raving reviews.
You said what?
I said you have such raving reviews of Ugo's podcast. How do you feel about the bass?
Sound jealous.
The Trick Shot podcast is fun, bro. It's fun. I mean, It's dope because again, since I executive produce it, like I literally set it up the way I want. Like I set up the questions I want. I've 1000% creative control, which is dope. Which is so dope. Like I don't have a boss. No, I don't. When I create my rundown before every episode, I don't have to answer to anybody.
That's so true.
great.
I didn't think about that. We're executive producers, guys. This is a podcast of executive producers.
I mean, you could literally put that on your resume. It's not. I mean, it's not. It's true.
It is. You know? It is.
It's true, bro.
100%, man. Stop looking at yourself as common folk, bro. We creators.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm a king. I look at myself as a king.
Well, someone has to.
Creative director DK.
Holla.
But yeah, we took a little break from the Fab. I just sent you the album, so it's on Spotify, so you have it now.
All right,
so we took a little break. I think we took about 2 weeks off or 3 weeks off because of the protests. But we're going to do a special race relations episode next week of the Trick Shot podcast. I just have to create the rundown for that episode, but it's going to be pretty dope. We're going to compare sports and race and how it's evolved over the years. Because obviously race and activism in sports is really, if you want to talk about the real height of it, was probably in the 60s with like Jim Brown and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Muhammad Ali.
Be very careful.
Why do you say that?
A lot of well, at this point, I don't feel like we're invincible, but a lot of people are coming out and really saying how they feel about the sports industries and how they're treating, or how they use us to be the showcase of, like they love using us for the entertainment, but they don't. That's all we are to them. And a lot of people are like stepping up forward. Did you hear about the Mike Williams kid? Is it Mike Williams? I don't know his name, but he came forth. He's a high school fandom, and he's like 15. And he basically was like, coaches, we don't need you. I don't have to go to a good school. I'm going to be nice no matter where I go. I'd rather support a HBCU than go to one of these schools that's known for basketball. Because imagine if we take all our good players and all our good black players, go to HBCUs and make those schools great. Imagine how much funding they'll get. Like he was just basically speaking it from that perspective. And it was just very interesting. And he said he thought about it for years. Mind you, he's 15. He said, I thought about it for years, but I just didn't see the right time to speak on it because I didn't want to get bashed or blacklisted as the celebrity as the up-and-coming kid who speaks out. But he used this platform, that like the situation going on now, to jump out and say, yo, black people, we can go to HBCUs and make the HBCUs just as rich and powerful as the other universities. And it was just very interesting.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I had a friend, like he did like a Facebook post about that same topic. I don't know if he used that guy's name, but it was the same idea about black athletes, especially basketball players, and I think even football players too, going to HBCUs and making them powerhouses. And the thing about that, which I find hilarious, but mark my words, it's going to happen. If that were to start, if the NCAA were to see that becoming a trend, watch they make athletes, they enable athletes to be paid like immediately. They'd come out immediately. They're just like, whoa. Pump the brakes there. That's going to cost us millions, possibly billions. We got to do something to keep our bottom line because it's just business. It's just simple economics right there. So, I mean, that's what I think would happen. And you got, correct me if I'm wrong. Like I see that happening if that actually becomes a trend.
I mean, I could see it that way, but don't HBCUs and the conferences that they compete in, don't they fall under the NCAA as well?
Not all of them.
Okay.
Because again,
I just figured. Oh, my bad. What are you saying?
Because again, some are like junior college, JUCO subdivision. There's so many different subdivisions. Like NCAA isn't like the be all end all of college athletics. Yeah, like it's just not. But so it's just like, there's a lot of gray there on top of that. So
because I just figure if the NCAA decides to play, let's not fight paying athletes, no matter what, they're like kind of fucking themselves over. So I would just assume rather than doing that, they would try to maybe swallow up these smaller like jurisdictions and bring them under the umbrella of the NCAA. Like, I think that's probably more likely because they could buy out these smaller jurisdictions or whatever and just be like, oh yeah, it'll be, they don't really care, as long as they get their money. But I think as soon as they let athletes start getting paid, bro, it's over for them.
It's a game changer, bro. That'll be a and I think what was it, in California? Then California
and I think Florida as well. I think Florida is allowing players to get paid off their likeness, and in California, I think in like a few years, I'm not sure the details, but it's something along that range. And if it happens in California, that's huge because that's a fucking huge college football state, bro.
Exactly. If
everyone's going to go to UCLA, everyone's going to go to USC,
right?
Even San Diego State's going to be like top 10 every year.
They're gonna be like Alabama. It's gonna be ridiculous. But watch, bro. Like you see it in California. You see like you said, you see it in Florida. You're gonna start seeing it in those SEC, in the Alabamas, in the freaking Georgias, in Texas. Shoot, Texas might be the first one with as much, and there's no state tax there on top of that. So it's like you're gonna start seeing more and more states pass the likeness. The likeness is the first domino to fall, right? Yeah. Once that falls nationwide or with the power conferences or the power schools or whatever, then it's going to open up the floor for the actual like on the field performance and so forth and so on. It's inevitable. Yeah. I mean, it's inevitable.
I think brands would like that too. Like, Nike, like, fuck it. Like, let's say if you have a college athlete and you get paid on your likeness. If I'm Nike, I want to sign to I want to sign him, or I want to sign, Burrows or something like that, That's crazy.
Hey, boy, I got a question for you when you're done.
Yeah.
Did your this is completely separate from this whole sports talk. I was losing it because I didn't know what you guys were talking about. Did your work falter? Did your work falter since you were working from home during this entire COVID thing?
Well, falter how?
Like fall off. Like were you still producing the same amount of work or more or less? Like did it
same amount of work, and like things have actually been turning up. Like as far as like clients coming in and. The money that we're making has actually been pretty positive, or even the positive. So do you think your workplace is gonna like look for more of these stay-at-home days since the work doesn't change when you're in office in comparison to being at home? Depends. I think it may be relative to. I mean, I guess it's what clients want, right? Because I work in finance, but it's also a service industry, and some people appreciate that face-to-face sort of relationship. So I guess it would depend. Maybe not. Like it just depends. But I think a lot of work, a lot of people realize I don't need to go to fucking work. I can just be at home. Like
a lot of people are like, oh, fuck that. Bro. I mean, DK was COVID before COVID, so DK was working from home from jump, so it didn't even matter. You would have been home.
Bro, I've been COVID.
Yeah, this like when they finally started letting us work from home, son. I like at first it was like, yo, you don't need to. You could just work from home. You didn't need to check in or ask for permission or do anything. Mm-hmm. The second they put that up there, I did it like a few days a week, and then I was like, fuck it. I didn't even ask for permission, son. They like changed my status from being in the office to like remote full. Like I said, fuck that, because you get the same amount of work done. The one thing that my other coworkers have said is that they're more productive because like there's specific coworkers that are like, well, just like in any organization that are very, very pivotal, right? To like work getting done. Yeah. And they would always get stopped in the middle of the day to answer dumb questions that you clearly could have just read. Or, like just dumb stuff like that. And he's like, he or she was like, now I don't get bothered by that. No one bothers me with random work that they have questions about. Now I could just focus on the stuff that I need to do. And like also just the meetings have gone down like crazy, because that's one thing that like or at least the jobs I've been, I'm just gonna say America is like a meeting culture, bro. Meetings for everything, yo. Meetings are for nonsense, like things that don't need 10 people in it. And to me, it's like it's really more the art of looking busy as opposed to like the art of getting things done. And it's just like I'm glad that they opened it up they opened it up for my team specifically because it's the engineering team. And it being a nonprofit, they want to just give us another perk so they could charge us less, so they can pay us less money. Mm-hmm. But I'm glad that other people or other companies are kind of seeing this, because it's like the best thing about working from home is that I save time on the commute, because if you live in New York, that shit is going to be 1 hour to 2 hours wherever you go for the most part. But, I get to cook every day, so I'm healthier. I could sleep in a little bit longer and stuff like that. Like I can get my regular stuff done. And it's just like, man, like 40 hours a week, bro, like with your coworkers or anything, 40 hours a week is a lot of your time. And it's like, it's upsetting when you think about it. It's just like, you're literally going to be spend more time with your coworkers than you do your family and shit like that.
Right.
And that to me is completely crazy, man. Like I'm not a fan of this whole 5-day work week, because what I saw in every job I've ever had is that we definitely kill at least a day doing nothing. Bro. Absolutely nothing. Like 4 days is more than enough to get all your work done. 3 days is probably more than enough time to get all your work done. And it's just like, I really want to go back. Like, that's one of the reasons why I want to keep building, bro, because I don't want someone telling us how to spend our time, how to waste our time. Like I want to have complete control over my schedule. And, even when you think about just the economics of it, right? You work for a company. Let's just say you make $150 a year. Like you have to be bringing multiple times how much you're getting paid into the company. So it's just like you're doing so much work, but you're only seeing a small percentage of the profits, which I guess I get that's why why it works. But it's just like, I don't want to live that life, bro. Like I don't want to be working really hard for someone else's dream and shit like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the reason why I ask is because it's like a lot of people that I talk to are like, yo, we're just work from home. Why even go back to the office? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yo, honestly, this could have been, it's hard to revolt within a company when you're by yourself. But it's a bigger message. Like, we don't have to come into work. Like, we're sitting on this train for 2 hours commuting 2 hours back. That's like half the journey. And then you get to work. Like you said, a lot of people just bothering you. You don't really get most of the work done. You don't want to be there. So your productivity is like lowered. It's like, come on.
So we go to work on a computer connected to the internet. Like
that's at home.
That's how I would say office jobs, but there's just a lot of problems. I think with just having just people getting too used to the office, like that office culture, like going back to the random meetings that don't need to happen.
It's like, yo, I'm on Zoom, bro. Like, we don't got to do that, bro. I'm meet you on Zoom.
Yeah, even just like with I guess people not communicating through emails. Like that's one of the things that kind of gets me. It's just like when you're communicating important things, I feel like a paper trail is very, very important. Yeah. That's why I always push for like emails and things like in detail. Like if you really want me to do something, I always say you make me a ticket. Otherwise, like I ain't doing it. Like just facts like that. Like don't ask me for stuff ad hoc. Like people have done it. People higher up than me, and I'm like, bro, if you don't put that in a ticket, and if they don't, I don't have to do it. Because it's like it's clear. If it's not important enough for you to put it in a ticket, it's not important enough for me to do it. Clearly. So I guess just changing topics. I guess we could go back to that Dave Chappelle stuff. I haven't seen it, but I wanted to hear your thoughts on it. I just got a
text recently that he dropped a new special on Netflix.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it dropped yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, or last night. Yeah.
Oh, so the 846 thing is.
I know what we're watching tonight.
Yeah, the 846 thing. Yeah.
Oh, I saw it on YouTube. That's what I put. I put it on YouTube.
I thought it was YouTube. I didn't know it was on Netflix.
I didn't know it was Netflix.
It's on YouTube, but I think it's through Netflix. Because remember, he signed a Netflix deal, what was it, 2 years ago or whatever. So I think this is all part of it, that he'd give them X amount of content over X amount of time or whatever. So, but it's
like exclusive early, huh?
Yeah, and they gave him like 30 million or something, or 50 million, or something crazy like that. So it's like, yo, it was dope because I saw what it was gonna be 5 minutes in.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, yeah, he's not. He's basically just he's venting, and I'm all for that. You know, if I want to laugh, because right now is the time for him to just be himself, like he always is, and that's the genius of him too. It's like you could tell he's not trying to be the character Dave Chappelle, even on his show, which is why his show worked. It's like, yo, this is some shit that you would watch a skit and you'd be like, yo, this is some shit he thought of. Like that's why, dog, I have every freaking DVD of freaking Chappelle show, first season, second season, and lost season. Like I could put on any of them to this day and just laugh my ass off because it's just genius. It's like, yo, bro, so much of it was ahead of its time. Now go ahead, Edwin.
No, first and only DVD I've ever bought was Chappelle Show seasons 1 and 2.
Yeah, facts, bro, facts.
Damn, bro.
The special, the special.
Why?
I don't fucking buy movies. What? I don't buy.
Why is it the only?
It's just hacker life, bro. Hacker life, dog.
Because I was in high school at the time. I remember I was in high school, and what was it? I think it's before like Circuit City closed or some shit. I don't know. Like,
Circuit City, yo, Circuit City.
Woolworth.
This is way back in the day. This is at the Atlantic Center, and I just happened to be there. I think I wanted to buy a game or some shit, but I was like, let me buy Chappelle Show, because at the time, I never really seen like any unedited version. I just seen like little snippets here and there. So I'm like, all right, let me just get it, because it was like cheap or whatever. And I saw it and I was like, yo, this is the greatest show ever, bro.
Dog, I used to in high school, I'd actually watch the episodes, and like we'd come in the next day. They'd be on Thursdays, I think. Yeah,
yep.
It'd be on Thursdays.
Was it Thursdays or Wednesdays?
Pretty sure it was Thursday. So, Doug, you come in on Friday, and we're just freaking talking about the skits, laughing our ass off, or just in groups just talking about Chappelle Show, the freaking Lil Jon skit. Like, oh my god, like it's like bro. So anyway, I feel like what's so dope about him, and I've seen him live. Have any of you guys seen him live?
Nah, man, I wish.
Oh my god, it was an experience. I saw him in New York. It was at Radio City Music Hall, and it was him and Lauryn Hill, which was dope.
Oh, did she show up? Did she know she had a concert?
She showed up and she was on time. How about that?
Oh, wow.
No, that means it was an imposter. It was a doom bot.
It was, he basically, I think for like 1 week, he just did shows. And every night he brought in somebody else. He's like, one night he had Chance the Rapper. Another night he had freaking...
I heard about this.
Yeah, he had Childish Gambino another night. He had another night he had on freaking Talib Kweli and another night.
That was different. That's not the Black Party thing, right? That's different than that?
What's it called? Black Star?
Chance wasn't out during this time. No, it wasn't Black Party.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, that was a movie. That was a whole movie. That was dope.
Chance would have been our age, bro. Well, not our age, but he would have been too young to...
Oh, okay. I don't remember,
was like
bro.
99.
What is
Yeah. No, but I saw him for that, and it was amazing. But it's just like, bro, I feel like he's so in tune with like the Black community and Black people. And what was so dope about him with this one, he basically said, he's like, listen, I don't. Have you guys watched my comedy? I've been talking about this shit forever. I've been talking about police brutality in every show. I've been talking about racism in every show. Yeah, I satirize it, right? I do because I have to, but I've been talking about this for the longest. So nobody's gonna call me out and say that, yo, what does Dave Chappelle think? Like, yo, dog. And plus, and we know that. Like us followers and fans, we know that. So nobody's coming at him. Yeah. Nobody's coming at him. So I love that part about it. It was dope. I didn't mind that it wasn't comedy. I don't need laughs right now. You know, if I want laughs, I'll turn on one of his freaking Sticks and Stones.
His old stand-up.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's not the time for that.
Speaking of stand-up comedians, they're reposting Shay. I don't know if you know the comedian well, Shay.
Is it Michael?
Yeah, Michael Shay.
Yeah.
And everything in his stand-up in 2016 is relevant to today, and it was like
Facts.
he brought up the funny joke he did do was like, yo, as a black man, is you can't, like, if somebody called you a nigga, you gotta beat him up. Like, he signed his lifelong contract, and if we get called a nigga, we gotta beat him up. And it's like, and you gotta win too. So you gotta go to your friends and you're like, yeah, I got into a fight with this racist and I lost. And he beat me up more. It's like way worse. So he's like, we're contracted to fight for the rest of our lives, so we can call a nigger and shit like that. This is not funny.
When he did the joke with 9/11, when he was just like, fuck it, like, he's like, yo, I'm gonna come up with a shirt like all buildings matter. Yo, I posted that joke on Facebook and I lost Facebook followers from that
around
joke.
that time.
No, this was last week. I posted that joke. It was like on Wednesday, I think I posted, or Tuesday, because I couldn't help it. I'm not gonna post it on 9/11. It's terrible. but nah, it was hilarious. Like, and I talked to the white chick who freaking unfriended me from the freaking from that post, and she was just like, yeah, she's like, I cried after you posted that. I'm sorry, I had to draw the line somewhere, and I was like, yeah.
That's fucking hilarious. All buildings matter.
A lot of comedians are like showcasing that they've been talking about this,
right?
And a lot of their jokes are so relevant to today. It's crazy, man.
Facts. Freaking Richard Pryor was doing an interview. I'll never forget this. I was talking to my boy about this, who's a little bit older than me. I was like, yo, he did this interview like in 1970, whatever. He's like, and I think what's that song Kanye did with Nas? Cop shot the kid or something like that. He sampled it.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Right. So he samples that, and but in the interview, Richard Pryor was like, you know how many niggas actually get shot by the cops every year? Like, a lot. This was in 1975, I think, or whatever. And fast forward, a guy gets killed by the police.
Yeah.
Yet again. So it's just like, this is police brutality is not a myth, bro. It's a real thing. Unlike Candace Owens, who said that it is a myth, as long as like Chappelle called her I think he called her a stink bitch. I'm pretty sure that those were his words.
He's like, I don't know what her pussy smells like, but I assume.
Yeah.
Yes.
You watch it? Did you watch it?
I started watching it, but life happens.
The one I said?
Yeah, no, this morning is when I started watching a little bit of it, but I didn't finish it.
I fell asleep to it because I watched it when I woke up.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, I'm here for it.
Facts. So yeah, Chappelle's the GOAT, bro. He's the GOAT. Like, period. No freaking argument there.
Nah, man. What about Jeff Foxworthy?
Now, what about freaking Reba McEntire? Like, let's just
oh my god,
let's just start naming.
What did she even do? I just seen she had a show like mad years ago. What the fuck did she even do?
Reba's a country singer?
She's a country singer, yeah. She's a country singer.
Oh, the redhead, the ginger?
Yeah, she can.
I know exactly what I'm upset for watching that show.
Yeah, she could get it.
Yeah, I remember the
Reba McEntire could get it. I don't care what you say.
But is it identical to her? Is Reba?
Yes. Yo, I saw that. Somebody tweeted that. Yeah, that dude was wild. Yo, that shit was wild, bro.
They got the same white lip too. Like, when white people got that weird tobacco lip. They got the same lip, bro.
Yeah.
The same with freaking Will Ferrell. Like, Will Ferrell looks like the drummer from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Like, that shit is hilarious.
I gotta look it up.
Yo, she has anime hair.
Like Tom Hardy.
I'm looking at pictures of Reba right now. She definitely has anime hair. Like, literally all her pictures, she has like this blown up red hair. I'm like, bro, she's a DBZ villain.
That's Bay right there. Stop talking about Bay.
Damn, you're going for old money now. Damn, she's 65, bro.
Hey, listen. It is what it is.
Hey, man. Hey, you're You're a soldier.
Oh, so just quickly, just to make sure I put this in there, COVID is still a thing. I keep looking at the and thinking that this shit is over.
Did he bug out on y'all end too, or was it just on mine?
No, you bugged out when you started talking about COVID, the fucking NSA.
Oh shit, the government.
Yeah, you're good.
No, I've just been looking at the numbers.
That was a trigger word.
Yeah, it's just the whole thing where I feel like people are kind of like being kind of foolish. I think a little bit jumping the gun in regards to like COVID. Like they're saying like one day, you know, oh no deaths, or like, you know, it's low for a little bit, but they don't understand that like things lag. You feel me? And then like it's gonna go up. And I feel like people get mad comfortable. And I've been only looking at the numbers like this week, but it's like, it's going up, bro. And it's just like, people need to kind of like chill, man. It worries me because it's just like, I feel like I'm in the minority of people that it's just like, I'm not going to go out yet. Like, no, this shit is wild.
Facts, bro. I'm right with you. Like everywhere I've read, freaking Florida, they opened up. They just got a spike. A bunch of spots in the South opened up, and their numbers start spiking. And I'm just like, then why the hell would I leave my house? Like, I don't understand. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, what am I going back to? And it's just like, yo, like people. The thing is, people are in such a rush because it's summertime, and I got to be outside, and I got to travel, and I got to do this, that, and the third. I'm like, yo, the pandemic doesn't give a shit about your plans, dude. Just because you want to be out in the park, you know what I mean? And they're not social distancing. Like they're not wearing masks. They're just like, yo, it's over. Like, no, it's not over. Nobody announced anything that it's over. Like, it's still there, bro. So it's like, you're not a minority over here. You're in consensus here. You see what I'm saying? Like I absolutely positively am not. I'm not freaking going about my regular routine until this thing is over. Like I leave my house. I leave the house probably like twice a week because I got to keep my car running. But that's about it. Like I just drive to essential places. That's it. Like I'm not. And cats are just like, yo, dude. So you're trying to hang out? Want to come over? I'm like, no, I don't. No, I don't. I really don't because I don't want to get COVID-19.
Yeah.
I've been seeing when I get on the base on the IG, son. All I see is mad stories of all my friends chilling, and because they keep hitting me up like to go out, and I'm like, no, just like no. They think I'm paranoid. One of them wanted to chill the other day because they live around here, and they were like, no, I got the COVID test and I got the antibody test, and I was like, I don't care. Like I'm just not. Like, yo, you take the train every day. You just went to the beach the other day with the whole crew. Like, nah, man.
Swimming
like,
in COVID.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not.
Rubbing it all over your body.
My boy from New York drove down to Florida, and he wanted me to come with him. He was like, first of all, I was just like, when he asked me, I was like, dude,
who does that?
I was like, first of all, you're driving to Florida. Like, what you're gonna go bar hopping? Like, what are you gonna do? What's the plan when you get down there? Like, what are you gonna do when you get there? Just tell me. Just what? Like, he's just so oblivious to it. He's like, yo, he's like, yo, I gotta live life. I gotta get out here, man. Like I can't.
Life gonna live a short life.
I was like, all right, bro. You keep saying that. Keep saying that. Like, no, it's not.
If you see it, it doesn't exist, bro.
Exactly. Out of sight, out of mind, dude. Like that's what it is.
I guarantee you, if someone invented, like, you know, let's say COVID seeing glasses or goggles or whatever, and people can see that shit floating, yo, everyone would fucking lock themselves. They would not go out anywhere. People would buy guns to shoot at COVID. Like, it'd be crazy, bro.
Ghostbusters, yo. We would go out there with
it would be insane because that's what Americans do when shit hits the fan. We buy guns. Yo, there's a pandemic, guns. So
guns and water, guns and bottled water,
guns, water, and freaking toilet paper. That's it. That's all you need. That's all you need.
Yo, I got the bidet. We don't need toilet paper.
Oh my god!
Just have water sprinkle your ass.
Yo, no, but it's COVID water. No. You have COVID in your bottle.
COVID
oh
water.
No, it's gonna hit my bloodstream quicker if it goes up through there.
Yeah, fucking weirdo. Yo, whoever bought land in New Mexico and is just chilling in their bunker, they feel super fucking validated right now. They're like, yo, I fucking told all of you.
Hell yeah, yo, those like extremists that like,
they're like, yo,
they're in heaven right now. They're just like, see, told you who invested in gold, gold bars. Like, fuck money. Like, the government's the currency's gonna be overthrown, and gold bars and gold coins. Like, we're going back to that.
I have a family member that I teach. She straight up just left. She was like, yeah, fuck this. I'm not staying here. Just went to Atlanta. She said, I might move to Africa. I said, you're going to do what? She's like, yeah, I got to get out of here. I'm not fucking with it. I was like, yo.
Did she go? She's in Africa now?
No, she went to Atlanta. She's gearing up to go to Africa, though.
Close enough. Wakanda before the stop.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Got the fuck up out of here, man.
I've been telling friends this, and I'll tell you guys the same. Like, if the freaking if the cops get acquitted, God forbid, in this like George Floyd thing, I'm going back to Nigeria, dude. I am. I got the dual citizenship for a reason.
Yeah,
like, I'm out of here, dog. Until things die down or whatever. Like, because like it's gonna be freaking World War Z. Like, you thought the freaking riots were bad 2 weeks ago? Let those cops get off, bro. Let those cops get off. Well, like, shit's gonna be insane. Not just in Minnesota, everywhere.
Yeah. I mean,
what's up with that? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's just going to show the justice system, because when prosecutors really want a conviction, generally it happens. And, in this case, he's clearly guilty. But even if it was pretty ambiguous and all this shit is happening, like they're going to push for a conviction just to pacify people.
Facts. That's
just the plan.
Yeah, the climate's different. The climate's different for sure. What were you gonna say?
Y'all know what's the status with is it the Taylor girl, Breonna Taylor?
Oh, they're trying to find
the chick that got shot. Like, I think she got shot in her home, right?
Yeah. Well, what happened as of yesterday, I believe they passed a bill ending the no knock orders or whatever. So cops can't just, if they hear a sound that's suspicious, they can't just go in to your home or whatnot. I think that only passed in her hometown in Louisville in Kentucky, I believe. That's where it happened. Mm-hmm. It only passed there. So, but that was a win there, and they're trying to make that obviously nationwide, because that's the thing with all these bills, and we mentioned it off air obviously, but they're trying to get them passed in specific states first, and then make it nationwide, because again, nobody wants to be left behind. They want to get on that train as soon as possible, because these states want to end these protests. That's like that's what people are missing as well. Like the state officials, freaking governments, local governments, they don't want protesting. They don't want that at all, because again, it keeps people from wanting to come to their state. They don't make any money off of that protests. Yeah. And the protests are not profitable. Only obviously to the organizations and rallies and companies that like Black Lives Matters, obviously, and these other social justice organizations. Yeah, they make money from like donations and sponsorship and so forth. But actual states, actual like local governments, they don't make any money from protesting. They don't want protests. so they want so if a law gets passed somewhere, like we were talking about the Karen law with the Amy Cooper law in New York. The fact that gets passed in New York, every single state in the United States is going to pass the Amy Cooper law. It's going to be nationwide, because nobody wants that smoke anymore about freaking white people calling cops on people of color. They just don't want that anymore. They don't want that anymore.
It's like, come on.
Yeah. But anyway, I got off on a tangent there. But the Breonna Taylor thing, the cops are it's still under investigation. Mm-hmm. That's the update on it. I think. Well, I'm hoping. I honestly don't know how that's going to play out, but I think that what I'm hoping for is, and what everybody's hoping for is that these cops got to get arrested, bro. They freaking killed this woman. Like, she was in her home. She was in her home sleeping, and she's an essential worker. That's like people. That's what people like feel like. Nobody's talking about that. Like, she was an emergency medical response.
Home officer,
yeah, exactly. So like, if that person's life isn't important, on top of it, she's black and a woman, if that isn't cause for concern to have that looked into, like what is, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah. So, hopefully, because she is getting lost in the sauce here. And also, like, did you guys hear about the Kendrick Johnson case from like a couple years ago?
No.
All right, so this story, I just heard about this, I think, like last week. One of my boys like retweeted it. So this kid, his name's Kendrick Johnson. This happened in Georgia. He was in high school.
He got wrapped up in
he was wrapped up. Yeah. They found him wrapped up in a freaking tar map or freaking wrestling match.
Oh.
Yeah. So originally the freaking sheriff's department did an investigation, and they were just like, yeah, he just suffocated. He's trying to get his sneaker, and he suffocated. He got trapped in it. So then the parents of the kid, they did an autopsy. They did their own independent autopsy. They're just like, no, he died from blunt trauma. Like somebody beat him with a freaking something very heavy. They beat him to death in his neck, and that's how he suffocated. But then they did another autopsy, and they're just like, wait a minute, his organs are missing.
Yeah,
all his organs were replaced with newspaper.
Yeah, the funeral home supposedly did that. The local funeral home.
Yes.
Get the fuck out.
So then CNN, dog, this story just gets freaking weirder and wonkier by the freaking detail. So then they did it. So CNN dove deeper into it, and they were just like, well, where's the surveillance footage? Because it was a high school. It's a public school. There's obviously surveillance footage, right? There's like 2 hours worth of footage that's just missing. That's just gone. That's not accounted for. Like, so they showed it on TV, and you just see him running in the gym, and then like a jump cut, you just see a bunch of kids just in the gym, just out of nowhere, just come out of nowhere. So they're just like, yo, the hours and hours of footage is just unaccounted for. What happened when he was in the gym by himself? Because he's in the gym by himself just doing laps, and all of a sudden there's people in the gym. Like, holy
fuck!
So what happened? What happened in it? I've been reading up on this shit like for days. What happened was not supposedly. I think this is what actually happened. Two of his classmates, one of a white kid, they're both brothers, two white dudes. He got in an argument about the white dude's girlfriend. Supposedly was messing around with Kendrick Johnson, and then. Like they were in the weight room, they were arguing, and then the dude killed him, and then his brother either helped him kill him or was involved somehow. Yeah. They took his body and then they rolled it in the mat or whatever. And then one of the brothers got drunk at a party and admitted that he did that. And then one of the classmates had a sworn statement, was interviewed by the sheriff's department or whatever, and you can see the report online. Somebody made a copy of it and shared it on Twitter. Like, you can go and see the report. Dude says, like, yeah, he told me at a party that he did it. Nobody's talking about this.
Why the orphans, though?
Because the thing with an autopsy, based on different types of examinations, they can determine when somebody died, the time they died, how long it took for them to die, the time of day.
Little black box.
Say again?
It's basically like the little black box on the plane.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So they got rid of his freaking organs. They got rid of his freaking fingerprints. They got rid of so much shit that can freaking determine exactly how and when he died. And the thing is, the kid that killed him, supposedly, his father was a retired FBI agent. So dude has access to freaking. He can go to the local sheriff and be like, "Listen, I need everything that you have on this. Don't ask why, and I need all the surveillance." And he can freaking doctor the surveillance, which is what he did. He had his people doctor the surveillance. They just deleted a whole bunch of files or corrupted a whole bunch of files, and then they gave it back. Like, yeah, we did our research. Here, you guys have it back. And they covered it up. He freaking covered it up for his son. Like, they killed this kid. It's terrible. So they're trying to reopen. They're trying to reopen that case, and they should, dude, because it's a travesty, dude. It's a travesty.
That's fucking crazy.
That's a movie. That's a movie.
That's a movie.
That's exactly what it sounds like. Sound like some Minority Report type shit, yo. Like that shit is fucking wild, son.
It's insane. It happened in 2013, and they're still talking about it now. They need to, bro. Somebody needs to reopen that shit. They're trying to. They freaking Kim Kardashian, she freaking retweeted about it. She's like, "Yo, this needs to be. They need to revisit this case. This is crazy." And then I think
speaking of Kanye.
Kanye.
Well, sorry, I'll take it back. He's Kanye now.
He's Kanye now. He's not Kundis. He's not Kundis Owens. No.
He's been dethroned.
He donated $2 million. He donated $2 million to BLM. And apparently when he was interacting with Trump during his election period, he was trying to get people taken out of the jails. Apparently. So
I mean,
it was a method to his little
This dance.
His little dance for the man.
Well, Kim Kardashian, she was already like campaigning to like get people out of jail.
Yes,
They got this one lady out of jail. They got a couple people out of jail, didn't they? Or pardoned?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, so they got power, dude. Like there's power behind the cooning, I guess. You know, so
power behind money and social media influence. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you could take up whatever pet cause, you know, however you feel in the moment and do something about it. Like, I would be surprised if this was just this huge grand plan. Like, oh, wow, this is like my big plan. He just probably felt one way one day and one way the next, you know?
That's true.
True. I mean, there was another. Did you guys hear about her name Tamala Harris or whatever? The black chick who she went to a slumber party. I think this happened in Georgia too. Dude. Georgia's
picture with all the white.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Fab, can you want to tell that story? Or you want me to tell it?
From what I know, you can fill in the gaps that I missed. From what I know, she went to a party, walked to like the back of the party, and then died. Like, just disappeared.
I remember that the picture that I saw was her and a bunch of white people.
Yeah, on the couch.
Facts. Yeah. So anyway, it's so crazy because all this shit sounds like a movie. Like all of it does. The Kendrick Johnson shit. Now this shit right here, this sounds like a movie. Like so, it was like for soccer moms. It was like a soccer mom slumber party, and she was the only black person there. And supposedly she got into an altercation with one of the guests. Because again, there was a lot of drinking. Mind you, she's the only black person there, and so they said that the next morning they even played the 911 call and everything. Mm-hmm. Like the neighbors just found her in the backyard lawn, face down, and so I was just like, yo, so like nobody noticed this, like. At all until that morning.
Notice the only black girl walked the fuck out the party. Get the fuck out of here.
Like hell no. So then they again the family. These families always do the same thing. They get their own independent autopsy person to go over the body, and it's terrible because sometimes they have to freaking like with Kendrick Johnson, they had to dig the body back up, which is terrible after the funeral and everything.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they did the investigation again on her body, and she had cuts and bruises all over herself. Like, so obviously she didn't just fall off the balcony while she was drunk or whatever. She got beat up by somebody or some bodies and freaking thrown off the balcony or left in the backyard. Mm-hmm. Plain and simple. So that one it has a little bit more momentum behind it because I know that T.I. and 50 Cent both came out like this week and they're just like, yo, y'all got to look into this because this is crazy. This is crazy. Like when Jay-Z jumps in, that's how you know it's real. Like Jay-Z's got to jump in both of these. He's got to jump into Kendrick Johnson, and he's got to jump in because he jumped into the George Floyd thing, and the very next day they had a brand new attorney that took over the case. The very next day, like freaking Jay-Z's got juice, bro. He's got sauce. Yeah, all that shit. So until he jumps into either of those cases, like they're not going to get the traction. But at least that case has a little bit more attention because it's a little bit more recently. I think that happened like last year or 2 years ago. Yeah. So, but it's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, here's a fun fact that'll make you guys feel better about all this. 50% of murders go unsolved. On that note, I'll be right back.
It's insane, son. Like, I don't even know what to say.
I mean, it's just I'm at least happy that people are talking about it more now. Like these, and that's a product of the protest. That's a product of the freaking of the outrage. Like more people are talking. I didn't know about the Kendrick Johnson thing. I had no idea. Like I think I'd seen a meme a couple years ago in passing, and I'm just like, all right, that's kind of crazy. Some kid got found in a gym. All right, but I didn't know nothing about the story. And all of a sudden, like, my boy, he like retweets like a picture. It's terrible. Like they got pictures of his freaking of the autopsy of his dead body and stuff like being examined. Like he retweets, he puts those out on Twitter, and I'm just like, yo, this dude did not suffocate. Like you just see the pictures. I'm like, what the, like there's bruises all over his chest and neck. I'm just like, yo, bro, like that's crazy. Like who like gets trapped in mats looking for a phone or getting a shoe and suffocates, dog. That makes no fucking sense. Are you kidding me? Like how? Like come on, man. Like what are we talking about here? So it's like like but more people are talking about it. So hopefully these crimes don't go unpunished, man. Because it's just sad.
It's a sad reality that we have to educate our youngest, our family members, old and young, actually, to just kind of carry yourself in a certain way, or carry yourself to protect your life.
Facts.
You know, and just to be able to see tomorrow is one of the hardest things that we have as minorities, let alone struggling through jobs, let alone struggling through relationships, or struggling through financial hardships and shit like that. Just staying alive has been the hardest task for a minority person in America. Well, anywhere.
Yeah,
it's hard anywhere. So it's like you have to first educate yourself and educate everybody around you, just for the safety and the preservation of life.
Hell yeah, dude! Like I did a Facebook post like right when the freaking protest started. I was just like, bro, like I've been pulled over like 3 times in my life, and every single time I've been pulled over, I thought about I might get shot. Like I might get killed. Like this really might be it. You know what I'm saying? Like that thought legitimately crossed my mind, and I was just like, I want my white friends to realize that thought never crosses your mind. You don't think about that shit at all. You're just like, and I've seen white people talk crazy to the cops. Like I've seen it. I'm just like, yo, I can't do that. Or if I do that, they're gonna say that they're in fear of their life, or they're gonna be like, yo, like this guy's too aggressive. I need backup.
And watch out for those friends who would hear a story like that and then say something like, "Well, what was he doing?" Or watch out for those people. Watch out for those people.
And that's the other thing which is so dope about, which I love, honestly. Some people complain about it, but I love the fact that these protests and this new sense of racial awareness that America's getting, it's like it's exposing the people that you thought were friends or thought were acquaintances, and they're really showing their true colors about how they really feel about people of color. You know what I mean? Like there were people when the George Floyd thing came out that were just like, well, why was he resisting? And I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like it's freaking.
Yo, advocate here.
You know where I've been seeing
advocate what, bro?
You know where I've been seeing racism come out hard on LinkedIn. Like I have like over 1,000 followers on that shit, bro. And it's just every post, bro, any positive post talking about supporting Black Lives Matter, you got just as many people under it just saying the complete opposite, bro. So much racism, son, within the professional community, bro.
Yeah, they would talk about that on Twitter. Somebody was talking about that on Twitter, how LinkedIn is low key like racist and shit. I was like, damn, I had no idea.
Because it's like, I think it's super naive for any person, even white people, to feel a way about, feel cavalier with the police, because they get shot by the police as well. Like I'm looking at stats between 2013 and 2019, there have been 336 unarmed Black people shot. There have been 452 unarmed white people shot right now. So it's still a bigger way bigger problem for minorities, obviously, but it's not like it's not a problem, period. So I think that's just like a really naive idea to think that anyone could get loud with a cop for any reason. Like, that's just
True.
That's crazy. Anyone who's on your team who does that, that's like, nah.
But I mean, that's my thing though, and that to me that further even proves the freaking white privilege and the white like veil that's on people of non-colors like eyes. It's like, yo, it's a problem for you guys too. You just don't see it, or you just don't acknowledge it. Like us acknowledging it. Oh, that's a black problem, or that's just them complaining about some shit that, you know, isn't that serious. That's why freaking Candace Owens can come out and say police brutality is a myth. You know, it's less than 1% or some crazy shit like that. I'm just like,
all right, but let's say, but that's the thing. Let's say it is less than 1%, right? It probably is less than 1%. Think about how many police officers there are, right? I don't know how many police officers. Let me look up NYPD number of officers, right?
Pull that up, Jamie.
Pull it up, Jamie. I'm fucking Jamie right now. 36,000 officers, right? So they have 36,000 officers. 99% of them are, you know, good, upstanding cops, whatever. 1%. It's a lot of cops. That's 360 cops on any given day, or let's just say, I don't know, let's just say half of cops aren't on shift at any given time. So 180 cops at any given time are
beating up,
prone to beat the fuck out of you or shoot you. Like,
that's terrible. That's terrible.
Like, she is right, right? 99% of cops aren't, 99% of cops probably won't do it, but that 1% is like, just as a number, it's not a small number. You know what I'm saying?
180 people beating me.
Yeah. Like put
the KD ratio is ridiculous, bro.
Dog, put 180 people in a gym and just sit there and just watch. You're watching 180. Any one of those 180 people can kill you.
Yeah.
That's still terrible. That's still a problem.
200 people in this room, but 2 of them might kill you if you say the wrong shit.
Like what? Like, I don't want to play those odds. That's some Saw shit right there. Like, like nah, bro. That's not cool.
1%? No.
Like, it's a multifaceted problem, bro. Because it's like you have police practices. I mean, obviously there's racism, right? But like, let's say we solve racism tomorrow. Like, police brutality doesn't really go anywhere. Maybe the numbers adjust slightly, but I don't think the problem disappears, right? I think primarily. You said what?
You're still going to beat people up?
Well, yeah, right? Because, I mean, the numbers are like, there's not one group of people that really doesn't get, that doesn't find themselves in these situations. I think the least amount is Asian Americans, right? But like in general, this is a problem that we all suffer. So it's like, you solve racism tomorrow, it's still an issue, right? A lot of it is the, relationship between police and people, right? And how police are trained. The reason why I think that racism is a part of it, but it's not the central issue, because I don't think Americans are particularly any more racist than other first world countries. Like countries in Europe are racist as fuck, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like, but they don't have the same problem. Why is it exclusively an American problem, right? Like they have, like it's happened in France. Like they had that guy who died in France, right? But like it doesn't happen in other countries the way it happens here. Like why is that? It's like there's a lot to say to that and a lot to think about. And I don't have all the answers, but like.
But a big part of it though is the fact that the funding, is the fact that the police are military. They're militarized and weaponized through dollars. The whole defund the police thing. A lot of people don't, especially like crazy like right wingers are just like, no, they want to bankrupt the police. Like none of, like you're missing the point here.
Like, it's like hold them accountable.
Yeah, exactly. Like the new, like for instance, I think the New York Police Department or something got like something crazy, like $6 billion, some wild, outrageous number like that. Like, yo, they don't need all that fucking money. Like, they really don't. I'm sorry. Like, there are so many other, like, if they were to just take like 10% of that or 15% of that and spread that out across, I don't know, housing, healthcare, education, like things that like really need it, especially in low income areas or lower middle class areas or working class areas or whatnot, that would go a long way. That's really the crux of the whole defunding. We're not saying, yo, like stop giving money to the police department, like bankrupt the police department. It's the same thing with the Black Lives Matter. We're just saying, yo,
some people are saying that. Not most.
Some are like anarchists are saying that, or whatever. But like level-headed folk like ourselves, you know what I mean, who are informed, we're just like, yo, redistribute that wealth. Like do what they did in Los Angeles. Like Los Angeles like took out $150 million from the police department, which was great because they didn't need it. They're not bankrupt from it, and they put it into low income and urban development for freaking schools, housing, medical. That's what they did. I'm just like, if every state could do that, you know what I mean, that would go a long way. You know what I mean? Because yes, it is systemic. The racism and oppression is systemic. That's a whole nother animal in itself. You know what I mean? And that's where the reform comes in. You know, one of my friends on Facebook did a post about it, and I was just like, yo, the police department, just like education, just like housing, just like a lot of areas, there's systemic racism that's been there for decades, centuries even. Like, we could talk about redlining. We could talk about the fact that they wouldn't give freaking loans or mortgage loans to people just because they were black or just because they were Latino or just because they were Asian. Like, they did that shit for years, dude. Years. They didn't. They freaking. Still happens now. It's just a different, like, until they freaking find a way to end that and reform it. And by reforming it, you're just getting rid of the people at top. You're taking them out. And you're freaking making it more of an inclusive, like thorough process of putting people in that aren't racist, like that aren't like dim-witted. Matter of fact, take it a step further. Like when I was watching the Hawk Newsom Candace Owens interview, he was just like, one of his friends is like a race officer. So basically, he's paid by the JP Morgans and the Charles Schwabs and all these like big corporations. He comes into those companies and they pay him a bunch of money. He does PowerPoints and he explains to their HR departments how not to be racist.
That's what I want to do.
Exactly. How to hire people of color, how to not ask ridiculous questions that are going to disqualify them. Yeah. He's like, but the crazy thing about white privilege and white fragility or white veil, or whatever you want to call it, these freaking rich people, there's a part of them that has no idea that racism's going on because they're that so far removed from it. And there's a part of them that are just like, yeah, we know that we do that. Why is that wrong? Why is that bad?
What's the issue?
Like, what's the issue? What's the issue? Like, I don't want to hire DeAndre. Like, why is that a bad thing? No, not hiring a DeAndre just because it's a DeAndre. The fool went to Yale business. You should hire him. He's good at his job. You just don't want to hire him because his name's DeAndre and you think that he's got friends that are in jail. That's racist. That's a problem. That's not okay.
Homies in jail. But like,
whatever. But no, there's levels to the issue. To answer your, I know it's long-winded, but Edwin, there's levels to this.
And the more we pod and the more we expose and speak on it, you know, the more it'll get exposed and get spoken on. You know,
facts.
So I'm glad we have this platform, and I'm glad we use it to, I guess, shed light on not only our opinions but on like what's going on in the world. You know.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And it's always amazing to have you on here, bro.
Thank you.